No.
I would like to be first with when I woke up this morning.
Of your own? No, it's just
Sorry?
No, your own. You have to create it now.
your
I
own.
want something fresh. Your own.
This is my own.
Oh, your own?
I
Okay.
mentioned it this morning in the
Fine.
introduction.
Okay, so it's just short, very short. You
Yeah,
have 2
right.
sentences.
I'm coming here in the early morning, as I did, to set up. And as I'm approaching here, there's a group of video people with cameras set up outside the door. And on the door is a great big yellow plaque saying, "No entrance, closed." And I am very frustrated because I can't get in. I need to get in to set up,
Okay.
period.
Good. Now, give me the first sentence of your dream again.
First sentence, but I'm here early in the morning to set up.
You're here early in the morning to set up. All right, so we have your beginning. And there's something that blocks you, right?
Right.
Okay, look at the dream and tell me, the dream is first of all straightforward.
Before the block, I did the video cameras outside.
Yeah, okay. All right, now look at the video camera and tell me what the video camera says to you as you look at it. It's one that you can work with.
Well, there's the video camera.
Yeah.
I'm delighted that we have a video camera here, but it's totally unexpected that we are having this filming done today. And you didn't tell me about it. I didn't know that there was going to be an obstruction here because of your activities. And so I am frustrated. I'm stymied, literally stymied.
Yeah, okay. Now, take the feeling of stymied. Okay, in your dream. What kind of expectations does that deal with?
Well, I was expecting to be able to walk in as I planned to do, and I couldn't because the door was closed.
Okay. And what does that say to you?
It says to me that someone has not communicated with me fully as to the circumstances that I would be approaching today.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
And what kind of feelings do you have about the fact that people not informed?
It was mostly that I was taken by surprise. The biggest feeling is surprise.
Yeah.
Rather than they didn't tell me.
Okay. Now, in your dream, as you continue it, why are you outside?
Oh, I'm coming in
Why is the room locked?
because they are videoing. They have taken precedence over me. And they're doing their video, therefore they don't want anybody interfering with what they're doing.
Okay. Now, they take precedence over you.
Right.
What does that say? Think about it.
Well, it says they're first and I'm not.
Yeah. Now, what does that say to you when you think about yourself?
Well, that means that an old team comes along in my life. I'm second. I'm not as important as I should be. I have not been taken into consideration. I have been ignored. All kinds of things there.
Yeah. There's a lot of sensitivity in that, isn't there?
There is indeed, sure.
Okay. Now, how could you change it?
I could change it by talking to the people in video crew. That would be the most immediate thing I could have done.
And what would you say to them?
I would say, gentlemen, and they were, I had made arrangements to be here at 8 o'clock this morning to set up the shop here, and you have this door closed. I need to get in.
Okay. I need to get in. Okay. That's interesting. Why?
You said it was interesting.
Well, I need to get in. Right?
Yeah, I need to get in, right?
Okay. What is it saying about your expectation from the world?
Well, number one, I have made a commitment to be here.
Yes.
And the commitment has been agreed upon.
Right.
So it is a contract, you might say, contractual relationship.
Right.
And somebody has reneged, it wasn't I.
Okay. So what you're saying is that there's an ancient theme in that of sensitivity. That goes a little way back, doesn't it?
Yes, sure does.
Yes, sure does.
It does.
Yeah, and it operates very strongly today, doesn't it?
All the time.
And what is the trouble it gets you into?
It gets me into all kinds of frustration. and I see that much of the frustration that I experience is self-imposed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I set my own, it's not exactly limits, it's I set up my own feelings of I can't do it.
Right.
That's where it really is. I can't do it.
Okay.
And,
It's that I can't. That's the frustration, right? Okay. Let's make you an oldest instead of a second. What happens? See, as being an oldest instead of a second. You said you were second a while back.
no.
Who said that?
Yeah, he did.
You did, that's what I thought.
Yeah, second.
You feel
You
second.
feel second,
So
yeah.
let's make you
I
a
feel
first.
second.
So
Well,
let's now make
I
you
am
a-
not second, but
Ah.
I felt second to them.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
Okay.
I am not a second child, I'm an only child.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. How does an old child get to feel second?
Usually by somebody else coming along later,
Yeah.
the second child, and they take over.
Right. Or somebody comes along and takes over your position even today, regardless of it.
That's what
Makes you
happens.
feel second, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. So there you have basically, and here very simply, because the dream is very, he begins with today. Something is going on, he's reacting to. You know? And in reacting to that, what he does is he gives away of a sensitivity, but the sensitivity is not good. It's the kind of thing. But he also has, what's interesting is he has a very strict sense of what should be. Yes, he's a man who is obsessed with shoulds.
My mother said, do as I say.
That's correct.
Starting from the beginning.
And he is a good boy.
Oh, yes.
And he's discovered there are no rewards.
The other thing she said is be careful of the girls. That's another message. But we don't
That's
have
another
to
That adds to it. Yeah, but basically the thing here is the sensitivity.
Oh, one more point.
Yes.
My father was a very old man compared to my mother, 50 years older than she was. I don't even know whether he was my real father.
Right.
Biologically, I doubt that he could have been. He said when I was in kindergarten, when I brought home a paper that had a mistake on it, I erased, he said, don't ever erase.
Yeah.
It's another same message.
Yeah. In other words, what you have said, the major thing that's appeared in your life is the word don't. You suffer from an acute case of the don'ts. That's chronic.
It's like indigestion.
Yeah, same kind of. Yeah, but I think this is very important because essentially what happens is that many times one of his difficulties in life is he gets caught in situations of discomfort. It's not that anything is terribly wrong, but that element of discomfort occurs. It becomes almost like a barrier at times because when discomfort occurs, it's the repetition of the don'ts, but there's no reward in it. This is the frustration. So they didn't tell him that there's supposed to be rewards, only that you're supposed to be uncomfortable with sort of the don'ts. Okay? And I think this is essentially it. So what happens basically is you get caught in too much sensitivity. It's hard to brush things off.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Now, how can we change the dream? Supposing you arrive. Let's do the dream from a different point of view. Arrive and do it a different way from what we've talked about.
I'm coming,
Yeah.
and I see the gentleman there, and I say to them, excuse me, yeah. And I go in.
That's much easier.
Yeah. I don't argue with him, I just say, I'm going in. I'm scheduled to be here, and here I am, and I'm going in. That's it, period.
And nothing much happens as a result.
No.
Ah.
It's quite
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, now here I think is the important point in terms of dealing with it. It's a very simple kind of thing, that there's a much easier way of doing things if we don't get caught in our sensitivity. And that oftentimes we get caught in sensitivity and this creates the difficulty.
And that is an issue with me.
Yeah.
Of overreacting to something somebody says, or
Right.
does, or even what raising an
Yeah.
eyebrow.
And really what he then says is I create for myself complications where I could do, if I did things in a different way, it would become much simpler. But this is my habit. And this is the fact that, when he responds on the automatic, he gets into the sensitive touching things. If he simply took simple actions, that could be bypassed. Okay, I think your dream says that is a very straightforward kind of thing, because you have the frustrations in the morning to work with. So here you see direct action. Now you see how current the imagery is, the fantasy is to the reality, as such, the connection that comes in. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, what's interesting here, it's very simple, it's very straightforward. And yet, it opens up a whole range of areas in terms of the past and in terms of, because the quality that you get into it is a kind of a loneliness that exists in the earlier, in the netting, which is, I think, is also partially a theme in one's life, that there's at times always this feeling of aloneness, of not being understood, of too many demands made on one, and so on, and when you try to conform, not being appreciated. But I think there's a loneliness that goes with it.
Yeah, there's been a prevailing loneliness.
Yeah.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is what I hear in the dream. I must say early recollections. It's how it's running in my head,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Because I think here basically it's a very straightforward kind of thing. And when he fills in with the period, the bits of history and so on, the parental things and so on, there is that element, because basically he talks of a father who was really much too old to play with. In this sense. So there's living in an older world where the shoulds get more emphasized in terms of what you shouldn't do. Okay, and with an element of being overprotective and also expecting conformity, which one might have been different with a younger parent, where there might have been more flexibility in this sense. So you hear all the implications of that at the same time that this is going on, and it gives you. And again, it's you notice it's very simple material, and yet as you play with the simple material, it begins to spin out a web of life in terms of it. And you hear the mood, you hear the atmosphere, the quality, you hear the tone, and you feel it as you hear it. And one can share it because one has the sense of it in this way. And in a sense, the important thing here is to define it basically not something complicated, but the thing we talk about, something very simple. Because I asked him to change the dream, he changed it to something simple. And the thing, the implication here is that if you keep it at that simple level, you're not caught in all of the shoulds. That will save you all of the sensitivity.